do. Yeah, I can't ban the links. Oh, sorry.
Yes, welcome to Ruang Global Media. This is Mayik Denki. Here with me with Ustaz James Mayik. And here with me is Moses Milau. He's the Chief Executive of Ruang Global Media. And also Ward Dengluas is IT support of the Ruang Global Media and editor. So we are here with Ustaz James Adiok Mayik. And we are going to talk about education. He's going to talk about his life journey, and he's going to talk about education and also about political dynamic in administrative area. So I'm going to introduce James Mayik about his background of education and the services that he has been rendering to our Sudanese community and also in the United States. So James Mayik James Adiok Mayik has a bachelor degree of science in science at Portland Community College in Portland, Oregon in 2006. He also had a bachelor degree of science in science at Portland State University in Portland, Oregon in 2008. He also earns a master degree of science in education at Portland State University in Portland, Oregon in 2009. He currently has a candidate for PhD in education leadership at Portland State University in Portland, Oregon. He also served as the Secretary General of Panaru Community Association. Back in the day, he's the former secretary of the Panaru Community Association in USA. And he's one of the Red Army, which is known as the Seed of the Nation, or Seventh Front, by Dr. John Grant. James also worked with the USAID in South Sudan. He also worked in various places like Nile Fed. And he currently teaching in a middle school. He's a middle school sciences teacher in Portland School District at currently. Also, he's a family man. So welcome, James Mayik. Welcome to Ruin Global Media. So what we are going to do, I'm going to give 1 minute to Mr. Ward Dingler to welcome you within 1 minute. And then I will go to Moses. But first thing that to put in our mind, we will give James like 15 minutes to walk us through about his life journey. And then we will come up with the question. Welcome, Ward Dingler.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It is War. I'm so excited today to welcome Mr. Mayik. I think you are the right person we to talk today about education. As you know, in South Sudan, we are still struggling, and that's why uh, I think you'll be a value today to share your experience and your advice. What do you think our future in South Sudan will look like if we work together? Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Ward Dingler. Moses, give a remark within 1 minute.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayik, and thank you, Mr. Ward Ingles. Welcome, Mr. James, to the RGM. My name is Moses Mian. What I can say is that I would appreciate your accepting our invitation today. It is very important for us as ruling communities to talk about issues that are affecting us in our ruling administrative area, as well as around the world where ruling people reside. So, what I can say is just welcome to the forum, and
Thank you very much, Moses. Welcome,
giving
James
up.
Mayik.
This is your
Yeah, James, go ahead.
Thank you so much, the team, the RGM team. I am really privileged to be here. And I thank Warding West. I thank Moses Milon Mian, Mayigding. Thank you for inviting me. I don't know where do I begin. It's a long journey, and I know some of you know where we came from. I want to correct some things within the biography you guys, CV that you guys have shared. A couple of things. One, my doctoral program is actually not a PhD. It is it's called EDD, which is actually equivalent to a PhD. There's no big difference. The difference is what I'm doing is the program I'm doing is called a Carnegie program, which is more practical philosophy of teaching. So what I will do, I can actually do what anyone who has a PhD is doing, but basically it is more of a leadership role. I can work as an administrator at the university level. I can work as a director in public school system, which is I am being prepared to lead here, which can be applied anywhere else.
Yep.
So that is one. The second correction is my work here at Portland Public Schools did not begin in 2019. I started in 2017. And I have actually been certified here in Oregon for the last 10 years. I was certified in 2009, but then I was afraid to teach. You know what I mean here. It is not easy. It's not easy classrooms, I tell you.
I know.
You have to be, especially being a Black person, you have to be twice as good for you
Yep.
to handle these people here.
Yep.
I went back to South Sudan in 2019, and I took a job with AED, Academy for Educational Development, and I was posted in Bentiu in January 2010 to go there and support the Ministry of Education when Bentiu and Ruang were one state.
Unity State.
I worked with William Dawood, and my salary was paid by the state. And we ran into a contract crisis when they told me, because I was actually hired as an international staff. But arriving there, they look at me, I was a South Sudanese, And I don't know what type of policy they had. They told me as a local. And to be employed as a local, there are a lot of challenges. I am not given an accommodation. And in Bentiu during those days, there were still a lot of crazy people. And you can live in while being fine, you're not very careful. Yeah. But it was good. I mean, the Nuer community had accepted peace because people were tired of war. It was very peaceful, let me tell you. It was only crimes here and there, but otherwise, in terms of political freedom, people were free. They had no problem with the Dingaruwing people. And so I left after 6 months because I could not handle it. I came back to Washington, D.C., where I live with a family friend, and I did some work with the National Geographic Society through the work source. And then I taught part-time there in one of the community colleges around there. Then DC was too cold, was too expensive, and I wanted to be free. So I left to South Sudan in January 2011. Somebody's calling. Okay, the call. It is my family. So I went back to South Sudan in 2011. I landed a job with as contracted staff to support the MSI, Management System International, which actually attached me to the Ministry of Cabinet Affairs with the Reform Task Force, where I worked with Dr. Priok to support the technical separation of South Sudan and Sudan, in the referendum. So I actually was part of creating South Sudan during those days through that program. I was the technical support advisor. I had one of my offices was inside the U.S. Embassy. I also had an office in MSI office, and I was mostly working in the ministries through projects. So after the referendum was done, I was posted to support the South Sudan Development Plan 2011-2013. And then plus a lot of other things. And I was redundant for quite a while when there was no project. Then I got a contract with EDC. EDC had gotten a $30 million contract with USAID. So I got a job there as regional officer. I managed that program in the Greater Upper Nile, which is Bentiu, Jonglei, and Upper Nile. So I traveled a lot of those places. In fact, I went to Akoka, where we crossed Maigai in 1989. I stopped the car and I had to walk there where we came out, that small village, right, where we came out at night. It was a very good flashback. So I actually opened up county education centers. I put one in Rang, one in Malakal, one in Bor, one in Panyagor, one in Ayut, one in Lair, one in Bentiu town. The Bentiu town, the learning spaces were not very easy to find because the structures were very poor. And then we were actually going to expand more because we were going to receive more money. In fact, there was a bidding ongoing to give us $105 million so that we can expand and rebuild the education system across the country. USAID was going to support South Sudan's education system and restabilize it after many years of war. But that did not happen because fighting broke out in 2013, and I was stuck in the hotel for 2 weeks until I left. So USAID took from us about $13 million, which had not been spent, and closed the program. We were paid for 2 months and sent away. And they actually gave the money back to the UN so that people can be taken care of and fed, refugees. So we moved from development assistance to humanitarian assistance now. And that's how life is right now.
Thank you, James. Thank you for your. This is really a very important life journey. But you left the very important part. When you left when you left your home village in Farian. So what are the challenge that you have gone through?
Well, thank you, Mayik. I left Pariang in 1989 in February as part of the Red Army mobilization that was going on at the time. And, you know, when I was a kid, I was really, really interested to go to school. And I wasn't meant to be in school. I came from a poor family. I mean, I don't want to call my family poor because all the families were at the same level at that time within the area. You know, they just had a different way of life. So then fighting started. I left. I came to Ethiopia and we started schooling there. And, you know, 1 year after another year, then we left Ethiopia. We came to Kenya. And coming to Kenya, you know, life was not very easy. But still, we managed to go through it until I got a scholarship in with the JRS program. Some of you know, as one of the best students in the camp at that time. I went to high school, and that's where success began. Because I remember very well, I was wearing one T-shirt for about 8 years. One T-shirt. It was first long sleeved, and then it got shredded until it became short sleeved, and a few slippers. I had never worn leather shoes. I had never seen them. I never carried money that is beyond 500 shillings, which is $5. And so I remember very well going to Chukudum to see my late cousin, Nyana Nyok, who was married to Mbengla Mijak. And that's where I found my friend, Rom Mijak. You know, we briefly stayed there dodging conscription. And in fact, I was conscripted. I was going to be taken to Korkalai, but I escaped. I went to the bathroom, and there was an opening behind the bathroom. I slipped through, and these guys were coming after me. I found Nyanapiu was standing in the middle of her compound, and she told me to go inside the room. So when these guys came, and Nyanapiu told them, "Oh, he left. He went that way." So they went there, and that would have actually derailed the whole part of my life, where my story would have been different from that few minutes if I was taken to Korkalai. Then I came back. I had 2 tobaccos because I wanted to use to buy myself more clothes because I had never worn anything. Coming back to Natinga, we met one of the soldiers. He came. I was with a good friend of mine called Malong. And Malong also had his tobaccos. This guy came from a wheel, and Malong is from a wheel. So when he came, he said, "Where are you guys going?" He said, "Oh, we are going back to Kenya." He said, "No, you can't go back to Kenya. We need you here to fight the war. Okay? You guys want to go to school? We should have gone to school and leave the war without anybody fighting it. So you are not going." He took my tobaccos and left with them. He said, if you want to go, you can leave and leave your tobaccos with me. Or if you want your tobaccos, just come to me and let us go to the bar. Malung told me, See, I have my tobaccos here. Let's go. This guy is not going to let us, it's going to cause us trouble. So we left. And so I had nothing. I was actually now back to zero. So coming back to Logochogio, I had nothing to use for transport. Malong gave me 150 shillings, and I bought it, and we both bought it. We came back to Kakuma. He's a very good guy. I still love him until today. He's a great friend of mine. And so coming to the camp, we were actually, the KCP results had come out. And I was in one of the vehicles, and most of these people, these students, were coming from the UN compound. Now they're talking about the results. And I'm next to a guy who said he doesn't know who James Mayik is, James Adiok is. So he was talking about me having scored one of the highest scores in the camp. I had 518, which was the third. So he was actually talking about everyone, including me, including all the marks I got. That was the first time I learned how much I have performed. So I came, spent a week, and I got a call. Our names were put out, and I went to boarding school. I was given 2 long sleeve shirts, very nice leather shoes. I was given, there was no tie for our school. I was given a lot of things. And I was given 500 shillings now. That's how the life I have right now all started.
Thank you.
And I think that's what Mayik wanted me to lay out.
Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much, James. We are going to make a presentation based on the question that we are going to ask with James. I will be walking you through. Those are the topics that we are going to work. I think we finish with the first one, which is actually fit within 15 minutes. And then we are going to talk about educational system in South Sudan. After we finish that one, then we go to political dynamic in the administrative area. And then we will just summarize a little bit on the recent Ruwen community dialogue in Juba. First, I'm going to ask the first question with James. So we will read all together. Since South Sudan since South Sudan gained its independence in 2011, the education system would be described as weak in the world, according to some study. As a result, many pupils and students seek primary and even education in neighboring country and abroad. However, obtaining education outside the country do not add up value to educational system in South Sudan. So what are the most important, what are the most significant setbacks do you think may affect or weaken the system of education in the Republic of South Sudan? So James, go ahead and answer that. Then we will go to another one.
Thank you, Mayuri. Thank you, everyone who's watching. Let me begin this way. South Sudan had never had an education system in the first place. I wrote this article in 2019, and I was invited in Amsterdam, Netherlands, to go and discuss this in an education forum. And back to, and I think Warren Englo has actually left South Sudan, went to school. I don't know, War, did you go to school before the war?
Yes, I did. In 1983. Actually, I went in 82, and then Pariam was bombed at that time, so they closed the school. In 83, I went to Kenya.
Hold on, guys. Let me Lots of war in.
So I think in 82, was my first time to go to primary school. And then sometime in June, there was Anyanya 1. I think they attacked Parian. So school was closed. Parian primary school was closed in 82 because there was a Nyanya one. A Nyanya one was still in Agava. They just, it was sometime in June or July 1982. So Parian was closed at that year and then was left Panyang only. So when we checked Panyang in 83, there was one and only left. And then 84, Mafia school down, and so that's how I left. So I was in the first grade or primary, and then I left in 2085 to Khartoum.
Well, like you said, there had never been education system in the villages, and I know most of us would have gone to school if there was any. The schools that were there, I don't know how you guys were paying for it, but when South Sudan gained independence, you know very well that within 20 years, every school was shut down, with the exception of a few that were opened in the liberated areas. And let me tell you this, any society in the world, its children are the most valuable assets, because there's no society that can survive without its younger population. And South Sudan's population had been 70%, more than 70% a younger population below the age of 30 or 40, let's say. The instability all along that has been going on in South Sudan is due to lack of young people. All that young population having no education. Now, here is what did not happen when peace came to South Sudan. I don't know if John Garang would have done it, but the biggest challenge when peace came in 2005, people rushed to Juba. Everybody wanted to have money. And some people even forgot most of the army that were deployed in many barracks across South Sudan to fight the war. This is what should have happened. Disarmament should have been completed. Demobilization should have been done as a priority. And then selection of the new peace army should have been completed. And then design an education system of which the international community was willing to support. Most of the SPLA soldiers we were demobilized should have been trained, polytechnics should have been built and sent to trainings to become carpenters, to become welders, to become all these small technical fields that they can use to support their living system instead of being in the army. And in fact, a lot of these Korean people, most of these people were old at that time. So they were not able to be in the army anymore. But that did not happen. So when people say there is Gelwing, there is White Army, all these people, Jamala, these are soldiers. They are not civilians. They are SPLA soldiers who were not mobilized properly. So most of them went back to the cattle camps with all their weapons, including RPG. The most on Mataweni, the therapy camp, RPG. These are not civilians. These are SPLA soldiers who were volunteers during the war. And when peace came, not all of them were put on the payroll. So they left, they went to their cattle camp. They want to use their guns to live their lives and support their families. So the education system that was being supported, it was supposed to be supported by the international community, would have built a lot of schools, open the TTIs, teacher training institutes. There's one in Malakal, it's not operational. There's one in Rang, it's not operational. There's one in Maridi, it's not operational, and many other places. So that trickled down to each village. So we are actually going back to what World English has just described, before the war. A lot of children, according to a research carried out by out-of-school children, more than 2 million children are not in school right now. So when we talk about education system in South Sudan, these are kids who are in town. And if you look at how they pay the teachers, okay, it's only like less than $100, less than $50 a month, and it doesn't even come regularly. You wait for it. So people who are in teaching right now are people who have nowhere else to go. A lot of the teachers have gone to NGOs, have gone to the UN, have gone to oil companies. Most of them are actually in the army. In fact, when I went there, I actually did some research and found that most of the teachers who were teaching the Red Army in Ethiopia have gone back to the military. Because a soldier in South Sudan is more valued than a teacher right now. So the life of the teacher is the most critical part when it comes to education system. You can teach under a tree, but if you are happy and you are teaching people, people can learn. So you guys can ask more smaller questions so that I can be more direct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Moses, go ahead and ask that question. Can you unmute yourself?
Mr. James, this is Moses Mian again. My question is going to go direct to you about education. Improving the education system in rural administrative area in South Sudan in general requires commitment from the central government, local governments, and private institutions so the records. These institutions should interchange education system by setting a standard or promoting obligatory principles to minimize studying outside South Sudan. In your expertise, what is the best alternative practice needed to improve the education system in South Sudan?
Well, that's a good question. And let me go back to the article that I wrote and discussed in Europe 3 years ago. South Sudan's education system should be given to a private entity. It should be privatized. And the Ministry of Education should surrender that money to that private entity and become an evaluation entity. They can evaluate the system as long as the current leadership is still very weak. And we can partner with a religious organization and say, you know what? The government doesn't have the capacity to actually build a credible education system. They are not able to pay teachers, which is the most important part in an education system. South Sudan Teacher Service Commission has not been formed. And that is the organization that trained, prepare, and register, certify, and deploy teachers, and pay them, fire them if they don't perform. Now, that entity is missing in South Sudan. We have the Ministry of General Education. But when you go to that ministry, and I'm not going to personalize anything, when you go to that ministry, you find people heading departments, people who even are supposed to be in classes to be taught. Okay? They are leaders. They're the one leading those institutions. And look, for example, everyone who is working in South Sudan, ministers, including the president himself, rented homes outside the country. Their children are not in South Sudan.
Yep.
Which country in the world has its ministers renting homes outside their own country? Right? That means they are running something that they don't trust. Okay? They are running a system Professor PLO called a hunting ground. It's a place where people go to find money and go away, go and serve their families. Who is back in South Sudan? Children of the families who have nowhere to go, people who don't have passports, people who cannot travel anywhere. They are the ones who remain in those schools. And who is teaching them? Teachers, some of whom have not even finished 8th grade and have nowhere else to go. They don't get paid. But what else do? They go to hang out there with children. And I really appreciate those people. So when it comes back to the Ruang education system, it is actually connected to all these other things that I mentioned in the center. But Ruang can do something. Ruang has a lot of cadres that have gone to school. We have a lot of people who are here in the diaspora. What Ruang need is a massive mobilization. And when I'm not going to personalize my discussion in Ruang, but the dialogue that was done in Juba, which I think is coming in the next question, can actually refocus our efforts to make sure we put our children to school. What else is missing? We're getting money from the oil, 2%. We're getting money from the local markets. If I were in leadership, I would actually put the community together and say, look, our children are our assets. We can introduce hard taxes. Because let me tell you this, education is never free. When people talk about free education, I don't know where they're coming from. Okay? Nothing good is ever free. Someone has to be paying for it. Even here in America, you guys are paying for every child's school here in America. The work you do, the taxes you pay, they are the ones that are used to pay teachers, that are used to actually buy equipment in the school. So we need to look at it in a different way. You have children, you got to pay. Okay? You got to pay. Sell your cows, sell your goods, and raise money to pay for the schooling of your children, because the person who is going to teach is not going to teach for free. This is someone who has children. And if they find a job in the UN in Adjuang Togoida, they're going to leave. Okay? If they find a job in the oil company, they're going to leave. And that's exactly what is happening right now. So put money, find money from somewhere, either from the people who have children, or allocate a particular budget from the royalties we're getting from the oil, the royalties we're getting from the UN in Adjuang Togoida, and allocate a certain amount of funding. Pay teachers. A teacher should be given $200 to $300 a month. That is enough to actually keep them in the school. Or maybe give them $500. Ruang is a very small community. And make sure every child is put to school.
Bangwadi Denglu has another question. Go ahead.
Hey, Mr. Mayik, this is War here. I'm going to read my question, and I'm hoping you can answer this question. We know you have been teaching for some time in K-12, a public school in Oregon, in the United States, which we believe enhance your preparation in academic setting. You understand how education system work. What is essential knowledge or advice could you give to Ruang administrative area and South Sudan education directors and viewers who are watching today? Thank you. This war.
Thank you, Warren Engler. And I can see there are some comments coming in here, more questions being asked, which I'm going to go after this. But I think I have already answered this question already. Just put money into the education office. Put money there, and put money into the classroom so that it can attract teachers back into the classroom. Teachers who have gone to the UN, I am told, are paid around $900 to teach. Okay, there are development partners that can actually support. Open up a credible engagement with these development partners to actually improve facilities and spread them around. And I'm glad that there's education. There's a school in as far places like Bill, for example, create roads. And if I were to really make a proposal, if there is funding, that road from all the way from Yao, crossing Parian to all the way to Miat, that road should be prioritized because it is critically important for the civilians who are at that place. Long time ago, and I think all of us know that these roads were built by generations for free.
Yes.
Okay?
Every year, every the beginning of the year.
Every year.
They collect mud and then they go and do it.
Exactly. This system is a contribution. And I think if we do it, because we're actually doing it for the Northern government. Now it is us, we are the government right now. Can we do that for ourselves and for our people? And it depends with how you convince the people. You just need to educate the population and make them see the value of doing that. Okay? Because even if you put teachers over there, how are they going to survive? Is there a market there? How do you take goods over there? Okay? Plus, there is fish from Dor. All that fish, will be accessible to the market in Parian. And so it will actually expand the population. A lot of people will go back there. That's one. Two, let us open up dialogue between Ruang and Unity State. It should not be a cutthroat all the time. These guys are people. They have smart people. Let us ask them, why are we fighting? What is the problem? What do you need from us? Okay? What do you need from the people of Parian? They just let's live our lives as neighbors. Let us educate our children. Let us open up our farms so that everybody can farm. What is the problem? Why are we fighting? Okay? What's the point? Who doesn't have a place to live? Who does not have a place to build their huts? Is it because of oil? That oil is not us who are mining it. It is being drilled by the central government. Okay? Ruang, just like Unity State, is being given. All right? What are we fighting for? So that insecurity can be refocused, so that the attitudes of the people can change. Okay? And so roads are important. Let's open up roads all across the villages and make sure communities are involved in the learning of their own children. Let us convince the teachers by putting money into the classroom so that teachers who have gone to the UN can come back. Let us build a transparent system. And I'm glad I was told the chief administrator actually revealed how much Ruang has in the account. And I did not hear him directly firsthand, but if that was the case, then we have some resources. And just go ahead and mobilize committees, from all the sections. Let them sit down and create priorities and create a budget. That budget should allocate how much are we going to pay one teacher? How much are we going to pay an administrator? How do you support them? Even if you actually create food for work. Let's say, for example, you find a few women to go and cook for these teachers, bring fish, cook nice food. Let them eat their lunch in school. Okay? Let the children also eat their lunch in school. People can be asked, look, we need bulls or cows or some goats to be, to be used to feed these children. And I was told back in the days that what happened when you guys were going to school in Parian.
Yep, that's what they used to do. When did I go by Guteme? Ku loyanga na chong kanga yopa al mem ringe to la hadi shar ne pombe like next month ki jwa ke to ban ko ke la kwanye team. I remember le men to fanyang o ke la kwanye team di la chambi krang bental ku dia woni ye tal ti kunta kwene ke area up. So it's the same system used to be dia ke area up ke ye ring tal ku tal queen.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
You can still do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much, James. Thank you very much, Ward England. This is a poll-up question. I know you have written an article and that you present some part before, and you talk about the four hypotheses, which is the proposed explanation about the education system in teaching in South Sudan. You talk about high qualified teachers, which you talked about before, and you talk about South Sudan ethnic politics, which is local politics, and the third one was like political motivated corruption. I think you touched some, and then lastly you talk about the learning infrastructure, which is the one that you are just talking right now about the road in Ruang administrative area. But there are some of the very important part in your article. You talk about the child girl education, and you talk about the post-marriage, which is the issue now in South Sudan, connected with the cultural norm that we have, cultural stigma. So can you just talk briefly about that before we move to the political dynamic?
Thank you, Mayuri. The female child or the female human beings are a vital part of any society. And a stable, and I always say this, there's no society that has been good with men only or with women only. It has to be a mixture of both. And when you educate a woman, you are actually educating a nation. You empower them. Let's say, for example, you create boarding schools for girls and create boarding school for boys. Or even if you don't focus on the boys, if you focus on the female child and educate them, many things can improve. One, their reproductive age will increase. Okay? Their marriages will be delayed. They will take more control of their own family life than their parents. Of course, they are forced away. They are forced to be married away because what are they going to do if they're just sitting at home doing nothing and people are preying on them? Their parents give them away to people who want their hands in marriage so that they can live in stable families. But let's say if they are working, if they are going to school, how long does it take to finish primary school? 8 years. Okay? So that is 8 years of their life being busy. They have no time for love life. Let's say, for example, they go to secondary school, 4 years. That is already 12 years, right? By that time, they might be in their early 20s. Let's say they go to colleges, because after high school, if the education has gone into their mind very well and they want to have careers, a lot of them will go to colleges. And that is when they will say, look, I have something here in front of me to do. All right? So if a girl is married at 28, 25, that means their reproductive life has been delayed. But if they start giving birth at 15, my friend, that is when there will be a lot of street children around, because some of them are going to have families that are very weak, very poor, that don't want to live in the rural area because they know they know the benefit of money, and they think that living in town is going to give them money. That's how slums comes up. And you have a lot of children whom no one is able to take care of. So, girl child education should be a priority everywhere. And it is a challenge in Africa, by the way, except some stable countries, stable democracies are improving right now. But for South Sudan, it is the worst. It is the worst. And how do you blame men who marry women who have never gone to school? Who in the world should be teaching somebody else's child? Take your daughter to school and get them ready for their own life. Because salary is better than dowry. Salary is better than dowry. Doing business is better than that one-time dowry that you can eat. And then you look back and you see your own daughter suffering in the hands of another man, like a baby factory. I'm sorry. Excuse my language.
Yeah. So
Okay, go ahead, my word English, if you have
okay.
a
So
little bit, so we can go
one
for
of the
break.
issue when we what the problem, like you said, we manage the country remotely. Like there should be in constitution, even if it's not in constitution. Whoever want to hold a position in South Sudan, their formally they should be in South Sudan. Like Ruang right now, people are manage the state. I mean the area outside, like in Giba. It just doesn't make sense because if the minister is in Ruang today, he can see the suffering and he can be able to say, "Hey, this road need to be fixed." But if those people are live outside the state, they live outside the country. I don't think South Sudan it should be. It's not going to improve, and that's where I see it. So the point you said, I think that's correct. But if in the dialogue like Ruwen today, we should add this topic that if I'm going to run, if Mayig is going to run, they should bring their children here. You know what I'm saying? You cannot take the resources of the state or the area and then you spending somewhere. So that's a point I need to add. This thing should need to be added in dialogue. Another
Okay.
thing.
Also,
Go
do you
ahead.
have something to add a little bit so that we can go for
Hold
break?
on, let me point
Okay.
something out from Warling Lewis. Warling Lewis, some people are talking about that, but I think that's not a great idea because the disadvantages outweigh the advantages. One, if you know very well that the system is very poor and you are not the one who is in the center, and let's say, for example, you are appointed chief administrator today and you live happily with your children here, and then you are forced to take your children on the plane to Parian, right? What happened to them if you are fired the next day?
And that's when the dialogue came in, like you said, Achinka Gutanwe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a point برضه نحن بنموت نتكلم كجام كو neighbor بتاعنا انه عشان قتيكو.
Now, most of the question
Most of now they follow up question to which other James can book law break who book ban law political dynamic of Ruang or in general.
Okay, thank you once more again. My name is Moses. James, you have expressed all the important things that we were expecting from you. These are very important issues. Education in South Sudan is not only a one-man job, it is a collective work of every citizen of South Sudan to contribute, as we know, the leader is not powerful if people are not around him. The ideas are very important, and the country that people talk always, contribute ideas is the country that people move forward. And in terms of education, it is very, very sad that South Sudan is still lagging behind for education. Education is the core center for citizenship, like nationalism. If you don't have a one language that combines you together, it is very important. It is very important for people to understand themselves. So it is very important for us to preach this topic to people. There are people out there that can listen and they can use the idea that we express in this video. So your contribution is very important and it is needed in our society. So I will end it here, and if I have another question later, I will add it to it. Thank you so much.
Well, let me get back to Den Hisham is in the comment section. He's asking me about my suggestion of privatizing South Sudan's education system. By the way, Dengi, South Sudan's education is actually privatized right now. Let me tell you. Anybody, all of us here on this platform are paying for someone who is going to school, either outside the country or back in Juba, who is going to a private school. Private schools run by religious organizations are way better right now. Private schools that have been built in Ajuantok are actually better. They're paying their teachers $900 a month, which is why they're draining all our best brains into their system, because it is private, it's not government sponsored, and the system is running according to the best international practices. But look at the government schools. So if we leave it like that, it will be like that. No good teacher is going to come there, because do you expect me to show up in those classrooms and move my children there only to be paid $5 a month? That does not even come regularly. No, I will not do it. Okay? Because it is not a communist. It's not a communism. So when you asked, what about those who will not afford it? Well, those who will not, right now, those who cannot afford those private schools are going to those poor schools where teachers don't get paid. All right? So let's say, for example, if we give the money, the little money the government has, give it to a credible entity, religious organization, they are going to recruit teachers, bring them in, and let's say families that are able to pay can pay. If there is a gap for families that cannot afford, that is where the government can come in and say, you know what, we have a scholarship for these people. So the Ministry of Education should provide a scholarship to those families that cannot afford to pay. But the whole idea is nothing is ever free. Education is not free. And it cannot be free, and it will not be free. Someone has to pay. Okay? Someone has to pay. Either you as a family should pay, or someone else will actually pay the bill. Because look, there's a teacher there in the classroom who is trained to teach. He's supposed to be paid. He cannot work for free. So let me take you to a comparative analysis in Kenya, for example. When Kenya gained independence in 1963, they were just like us. The best part of their independence was that Jomo Kenyatta was actually trained by the British. He was trained by the missionaries. And so when he took over, he lived for a while, but then when he died, President Moi came in. President Moi was a primary school teacher, for your information. He was a teacher. And so he came in with the perspective of making sure every child should be in the classroom. So the British that left Kenya did something. The American government came in, and they actually started a teacher education program at Columbia University here in New York. And they allocated American teachers to go there and cushion the transition between the British when the British were leaving, right? They were leaving, including their teachers. They were leaving. So they left. And when they left, the Americans created this program of cushioning the transition. Okay? And that program went on for some years. And what they were doing, they were training the Kenyan teachers now to take over. So the Kenyan teachers gradually took over until they were fully took over. They had the capacity to take over. Did that happen in South Sudan when we gained independence from Sudan? No. In fact, I was in Rang in 2012, and I actually took a picture in front of the County Education Center with a bunch of teachers from the north who were being attacked every day. The administration in Upper Nile wanted them to leave. And I look at it and I said, look, this guy leave. What are you going to do? Are you going to appoint women randomly in the village to come and replace them? These are professionals who have been trained. Simply because they are foreigners, they're teaching your own children. Give them time until you have teachers to replace them. But everything was political. Okay? It was political. It was not seen from the technical point of view. So if I were the administration of South Sudan, they would actually have made a deal with Sudan to keep these teachers inside South Sudan, to train the South Sudanese teachers so that they can gradually be phased out over time. But that did not happen. We are all into the military. People are in national security. People want guns. They don't want money. Well, they want money. They want to rob money at gunpoint. I'm sorry. I'm good.
Okay, at this time, thank you, James. Thank you, James, for your time. We are going for break right now after 1 hour. It will be 5 minutes, and we'll come back so that we can take care of those of little kids that are playing around behind there. Over your validation, why you will check a late over the break.
Ramu bay jam ge guram lel di jiriak ben. Ngade pen balalui nos. Ngade pen balalui south. Ngade pen balalui east. Ngade pen balalui west. Ramu bay ge dawadi. Ramu bay jam ge guram lel di jiriak ben. Ngade pen balalui north. Ngade pen balalui south. Ngade pen balalui east. Ngade pen balalui west. Ramu bay ge dawadi. Yokolor gamuran tokini yalai go panto. Yokolor gamuran tokini yalai go panto. Yanga jemen ba nile wing ni gapanda. Ninga ye gam gedalo. Jangoro ba ye pyanto. Yanga jemen ba nile wing mi gapanda. Ninga ye gam gedalo. Jangoro ba ye pyanto. Yagoro gam oran tokini yalai go panto. Yagoro gam.
Welcome back, Bakichin. Okay. Oglot Siadi, Kawi Bagi is palping a dick. Wokak ruin. Kujara Kaman Kwandai. Here with us on the studio, Ustaz James Adiok Mayik, and also Moses Melon Mayan, and Ward English. Welcome, Ward English. Welcome back.
I'm here.
About jog recent ruling community dialogue in Juba. Chatting on the screen there. Powerful demonstration done by Executive Director of Community Empowerment for Progress and Organization, Ranichol Edmund Yakani, on the collapsing of the teamwork within the society or leadership actually. So I'm going to play a clip video later on before we go to the political dynamic question to James Mayik. So last week I presented a clip, but I was talking behind the scene, and even my audio was not out, so that was unfortunate. I came up with the social contract. Social contract. It is an agreement among the members of the society, because it's said institution that is instituted by the member of the society for their freedom to be protected. For a certain benefit, it is now become an institution that can protect the interests of those members of the society with the basic services like what we talked about before: education, properties. That's why I brought this one up compared to Ruang administrative area that was established. So I'm not going to read it. It is very, very self-explanatory. Ruang administrative area leadership hierarchy based on social contract actually. But the one make long leadership when into very weak every time ran ke work in work panel then yen ran ke ran long mangsa. So kayamang ke sar long dan the ruling. So let me play the clip video the long the presentation on Yakani Chiloi Agagiting. So what is the very important part of it? Let me just go down, and James will talk about it a little bit before the question.
Right. So this is the decision you have made. As a different tribe, as a different communities of going from Abiyanon, from Parian, from everywhere, Today we decided to be ranked at the area. First right honorable speaker is representing your population in the national government. As honorable in the national government, in the council of the state, in various institutions, directors, undersecretary, to represent them. Then chief administrator represents the political leadership on the ground as well is concerned. This is the representative of the youth of various youth of Rueng. That is General Ahliya. Then let us try to see whether Rueng will remain united. Your national leaders will say we don't care about what's happening in Rueng. We care about our seats because we are all the honorables in the parliament, in the council of states who have the on the ground. Right, Robert Speaker, you leave the chair. She left, the youth are shouting, politicians are already taking us as Shabab. And I'm not using
Yena diga banya James in board and mute. Chan be kanebe bedang na mamat try to make a brief explanation about the presentation. Can you unmute yourself before we give you the question?
Yep.
Well, I know Edmund Yakan is a very eloquent presenter, which is why his civil society organization is very credible. And he has described exactly what is happening. Okay. You talked about why is the community of Rueng disunited. It is because of the leadership we get. The leadership we get will demonize some people and favor some group of people that they can share information with. Communication is key. Let's say in Mayik right now, if you start your own rebel movement and you are fighting a government, you just fight. You don't have a political wing. All you have is you have guns and you just want to shoot everyone. And you don't tell people what you are fighting for. You don't tell anybody. You hold everything secret. Although you have a very good agenda, you are not telling people what you are doing. Do you know how people will describe you? You are a terrorist because you are terrorizing the population without an agenda. You don't have a genuine agenda. So when somebody comes into leadership in Rueng, he doesn't tell people what he's doing. All right? Everything is secret. It's kept secret. And I tell you how many times we began with, one leader after another. We try to reach out after somebody has been appointed. That person is going to keep everything secret. And so what happened to people who have been sidelined? They actually go and group themselves and exercise their power. They go, somebody in the road to J1, everybody is aware about it. These are not elected leaders. These are leaders, you go and lobby. Na chikudu tiam, karat ke rane dome chobi ku kene kele bichen, bekele yo. I think that in this story do abla luel, we don't know what he's doing. We don't know what that person is doing. In fact, you will depend on rumors. Okay? There's something we read. If, as a government official, if you don't engage the media has a right to actually construct your own history according to your own story, according to what they hear in rumors. It's still rumors, but it counts. They will destroy you, whether you want to talk to them or not. That's why you have an obligation to tell people every now and then what you are doing and why you are doing it, because you are not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the people. That's what social contract is. Social contract is an arrangement between the people who are being led and the people who are leading them. So what Yakani has demonstrated, if Sultan does not know what the leader in office is doing, he's just going to depend on rumors. If the MPs do not know what the leader in Parliament is doing, they're going to depend on rumors. If the youth do not know what the leader is doing, the people, they're going to depend on rumors. So when the current chief administrator was appointed, I wanted to talk to him, not on a personal issue, okay? I wanted to give him my ideas. And that was difficult. It was very inaccessible. Okay, it could have been busy. And I went ahead and actually wrote 3 points, proposals. Things maybe he knew them already or whatever was happening. 1, the program called Ruang We Won is not clear because there is no document. There's no program written for us to read what is the content of the Ruang We Won project. Okay? And I wanted to inform that project. 1, Ruang has no constitution. Okay, we are told there is South Sudan constitution, but that constitution is a general law in South Sudan, which is not even being followed. Okay, so why don't you refashion and refocus that law to actually fit that particular demography within the Ruang administrative area? Say, for example, the weapons that are in the hands of civilians. My friend, even Tonglithian, a big damage, and it's already happening. Okay? On top quite by there are the Panaru on Thoratong. No. Mafi. Kay Lule Tonglithian would Ganu Nato. I can the Anne Thoratong.
Yep.
Kay the Yuba 12 like it on man, Kayum Namatul. I can't know Nata in a tongue, Kamam Kuya, but no, they call Biden. They call Biden. They could be backward. In Gabon, they call it yapping it, quit. Upaki, long and one them. Allow me here, if you tongue talk about in a quite a book, they talk lowy. Like here right now, can make a mooke might get more powerful than spears. If we don't have rules around them and they are in the hands of a lot of traumatized youth, my friend, we are setting ourselves up for a big failure. And what is happening in other areas where people kill each other is going to come to ruin. God forbid. Okay? It is already happening right now. How many people have been shot? People have even been blown up with rocket grenades within the area, which is not good. So the rule of law need to be written. That was one proposal. Second proposal, let us build a culture of transparency. The culture of transparency is creating a budget, okay? Because they are quite resources. The reason why people are fighting to go there is because we are in charge. You cannot go there. Kati kwaneke tag 3 chok. The binaka mikula kwen Uganda. Lainaka panu jeri. Okay? Create a culture of transparency where you let the people know how much money do we have and how much money are we spending in a year and what are we doing with it. That is what we call a budget. Right now in the current education system where I work, we begin discussing the budget publicly 1 year in advance. Okay? So that they know if there is no enough money, How can we reduce the budget? Which area can we make a cut? And which area can we put more fund in it? And where are we getting this fund to fund the budget? Okay? Communicate with the people. That's one. Third, communication. Do we have a media organization? Does Ruang have a website where we can actually find updates every now and then? No. We need to be able to communicate with the people, not me and you and everyone. The people need to be able to communicate with their leadership so that they know what is going on, so that they are given credible information rather than depending on rumors. Those were the three. And I wrote them, I sent them to him. Whether he took them or not, I don't know. So that is why there are groups of people here and there who will unite, go to J1, go and tell J1, we don't know what this guy is doing. Get him out. He will be taken out. We have 7 right now. We are with the 7th leader Ruang has heard so far. And there's a group talking right now because we are told in the dialogue, the group that was removed recently was not included to actually add their views. Why would you do that? Whoever was doing the organization did not think, well, if you are excluding a group of people because there's a political difference. We need to learn how to be opposed because opposition will never go anywhere. Opposition is actually what builds a society. I can call Biok Tok Jo Luel will not happen. They don't agree all the time. No. When you take them, they don't agree every day. Okay? I'm talking too much. So those are my the dialogue.
This is very good perspective, James, and I'm going to give you. I think you answered the question that we're supposed to be asking, but we will show them to the audience, and I think you touched most of them. Moses will ask the first question that's related to political dynamic rule in administrative area. Moses, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Okay, James, the question I'm going to ask today is question 4, which is saying that a few months ago, we learned that the Ruang administrative area had proposed a convention in December 2022 in Ruang land. However, we understand that the people of Ruang have never convened during the creation of the Ruang state. What do you predict will be the outcome of this long-awaiting convention? And based on your knowledge, would this convention be favorable? Will bring some favorable resolution about how the Ruang citizen could decide the Ruang's leadership?
That is also a good question, Moses Milau. Thank you. Governor Rim Tring has actually done it, and it turned out to be a very positive outcome by stabilizing the turmoil leg state that we have witnessed for years. So, this is what Rim Tring did. He went home, he called a convention with the community and asked them, here is the problem we are facing in our society. Young people who are traumatized, people who have their own issues, people who are lawless, are going out there, destroy people's life, destroy people's property, and there is chaos. What should we do? Okay? Then the people, that was a genuine question. There's a real problem, real threat to the livelihood of the people. Good people who are trying to do good things to themselves and their families had their life disrupted because of lawlessness. The community gave him the power to do what he thinks is going to stabilize society. He said, okay, if you kill somebody, we're going to kill you. And he did exactly that. You want to kill somebody? You're also going to be killed. All right? Because nobody has the right to remove somebody else's life and destroy somebody's family, take somebody's cow by force. This is criminal. And so to prevent you from committing the same crime again, we're going to remove your life. And this is what brought Lagos State to where it is right now. That's why you see General Renatring has succeeded. Ruang can do the same thing by having a committee identify what is the problem. What problem are we trying to solve by that convention? That's number one. Two, then you come down, how are you going to solve it? You ask the people. People, here is the problem. Okay? Here is the problem. And give it to some expert to inform it. And then now you go to the community with the problem and let the community contribute. If they has a genuine question, that convention is going to be positive. And I'm not against it. Okay? I'm not against that convention. It is a good move to actually give people a platform to air out their views. If it is meant for a political platform to give some people a chance to sell their political agenda, it is totally going to be negative. It is not going to be different from the political turmoil that has been going on, because the opposition part is going to see, oh, this guy is trying to build his political capital. So we're not going to agree with it. They have to come up with a non-political agenda based on the real problems that is facing people on the ground. And if I had read the communique of the current dialogue, I would have had more proposals in my mind. And one thing I propose should be on that agenda is the dialogue between Ruang and Unity State. I don't mean between the politicians. I mean between people to people. Okay? People to people through their chiefs, through their sultans, through their headships, through their elders. Okay? Why are we killing each other? What's the problem? Who has nowhere to build his hut? So that we can find them a place. Okay? Why can the people of Ruang or the people of Bantu should be allowed to move freely? You want to do business in Bantu from Pariang? Do it. You want to come to Pariang and do your business as somebody from nowhere? Why not? We're people of one country. There should be no boundary between the people. Okay? Those town people are fighting for the new places that are being created. Anybody has a right to live there. It should not be, and you can even have a right to lead it if you want. Person of Pariang can become an administrator there. Somebody from Unity State can become an administrator. There should be no distinctive boundaries between the two communities in one country. There should be a blend. It's not a cutthroat. It's not a border between Sudan and South Sudan. That is the border we should focus on, not the border between tribes.
Thank you very much, James. I'm going to ask another question. I think you have answered some of the question, some of the thing that contain the one that I'm going to ask. I think it seems that there is a leadership crisis ruling administrative area since its establishment. So what are your current political view in regard to the political dynamic in Ruang administrative area about the Ruang we won slogan? So thank you very much. I think you have answered some, but you can walk us through.
Thank you, Mayik. Let me come down to the formation of the current government. Is the current government different from the previous governments? I don't believe it. Okay. Since South Sudan gained peace, and even when we were in together with the people of Bantu Unity State, leadership was distributed according to sections and according to communities. How many communities do we have in Ruang? We have Awit Kubra, we have Kwilidip, we have Kwil Molping. And within those sections, there are actually smaller divisions within. These are units of organization. They should not be taken for political reason. Okay? Say, for example, Kuok, Aniek, Bibiok, Koigor. These sections are not political. They are actually families. They are units of organization. And that is why I told people of Koigor in one meeting in Juba, you all who are sitting here do not come from mothers who were born in Koigor. Okay? We are all interconnected with the other communities. There is no day we will sit down and plan evils against the other community, the other sections, because one of you here is going to take the message tonight to them. Okay? And tell your uncle, tell your in-laws, tell your all these people. You can even tell your wife, and your wife is going to tell the people. So let us not politicize all these divisions. The reason why there are crises are division of resources. There's nothing else. Resources. If you are an MP, you get paid good amount of money. They just got $15,000. Okay? And that MP is not better qualified than Mayik Riai. It's not better than qualified than Melona Mayan or Ward England. Right? Your turn has come. Why can't I have it? So that I can also get that 15,000 to come and develop my family. So that characteristics of our community, representative politics, is good. It should have been followed. Say, for example, we had proposed in our community that the leadership will be distributed. If anything comes to Greater Jamjang, all right, let Michael Miyominiel remain as the commissioner. Jan Miniel has come. He has, done his leadership. He come from Labang. We here in what do you call it? Wunatoi had Bulatolau. Labang also had Mijuk. And then Liu Banu Paloi had Paloi Sabare Chegiro de Dingluai Quade Jam. Okay? Dingluai Chingi cake for quite a while. So I hear constituency, but Paloi Chilwell and Nade Calaban now Ben Paloi. Okay, Yang he want each will ding char. When get the quite cock and they you word me pay. All right, now they can be Ben. Because they're not ding loy. Okay, he will me like a buy a book with Jot. Get me your minion Louis fire. Iran and pay that guy. Could Chen catch a ben quite go, walk do get on Labang. Dumnum got a boat. Okay, is that fair? Actually fair, and I'm not claiming it. I'm not saying because these are my people. I am saying if you are a fair leader, you should actually follow things that will unite the people. Okay, because the current commissioner, I don't have any personal problem with him. We had all agreed, the intellectuals within our community had all agreed that this is how we do it, so that people can live peacefully. Because that being a day salary, they will. All right? That's what we were talking about. But I don't know how he's dealing with it. Okay? Because we have moved on. So that is why there is a political crisis. in ruin. Because if you come in, you don't work with the community, then you got a problem. If you work with the community, even your oppositions, and you tell them the truth, you call them. Then what terku yin okay? A be like yin get terku can. Come on, talk about the 10. Kwajigala lim, akuma kela lim. They akuma wa lim in my yin 10 kilo mane ngadi state bank lo ku liam we lo la ngong ka chin chwa ngon ni pe nya yin mi ken we no chi ge mi yin la na ke da kuma ke di jang a chin per ga non kilo chari ku la jang alim ke ka jang ke tau together a bi o ke di jang a loy a chi ran tong la ye ke so the le ne loy ku le ko re ne ke la loy favor be nga ga yin ke tin lo ne pin wa ko then you are contributing to that political crisis. All right? If Naya Bang we be a lim ki lim headi, Palkalani the young you kunam ten. Okay? Take a kale. Take a kakwa. I think a kaki. Okay? That is what I call the culture of transparency. If we build a culture of transparency, we're going to have that leadership crisis will be mitigated.
na yeme din chi alwa achira alwa la rana la ban ke nyanen chi liya ke le pyoria ke le rana go ran yo le yi ma ke chi ke ne chor ko lo ya no na yen ke ban lo tin nyan ni ke ro kan chan mo bero go le kin chan in chan gwa tang no mo ba ja ro ko da ne ku don wel and ke think chi and take this is the way this small organization na ji pyo ji tek tege musuliya tek yen tege hoto rana pyo to ji ban man ne lwegi ke ngal wel kana ki yego. I have received a lot of phone call from where I come from to do an in wel ka de ko pa na ko o ko pa na ko den da le nya na me ta ka na mo ko ro a bla ke bantini and dan gule no me yi kren ke te ku ke wile den ede den na chol man ya an kren ke do ni ku du ten ku du wer ki ku no a che politic adenam aye na che na taw nam tin ka cha ga jibo kan chila tin in jem ka yo that's what you are talking about. Abi ke den jo ku en ten ke le yene ko ki pe ke liu na yen den chol man ya ma e kam ya fan wer ko ba gor ke di ke di you go then ki di pe wan den e ke le ten ko master degree wajala is not about degree. Just be fashion why and me mention me kala yen ke follow up fashion with but here to one na and well like on I start that no jeme re good byong kala pia lakini chena me kala it's about the source of information that are coming from ruin. So are you aware of distributing the resources to those in need? I don't know how they distributing those resources. The amount of money that was given to individuals. Do we have credible resources there before I move to Ward England and Moses?
Well, it is a rumors. You are actually depending on rumors because there's no credible communication coming from the leadership. So, like I said, okay, if we hear rumors, it is the responsibility of the leadership to come out and actually clarify what is going around is not true or it is true. But if they're just keeping quiet, then we assume it is true. Right? Yeah.
Thank you very much. Moses and Ward English, I think I will give it back to Ward English because Moses asked one question.
Okay.
Yogin Ward English could have your job from the scribe because and keep question.
Yep. No, I hear that and keep with you script question, Assassin.
Very good.
Olen, I think today, Colin, yeah, me jump on the gym. And I think tong ok jam ko jun te wiku a chu ka gi chuo a chen on chan and we ka chu ko na no na chi ke ping ban James Mayik ka chen ya ye kol chok jam ko jam ko ye long na ko je ka ade ka lot what I can say ke ba la gin ko to ba ben Junub Sudan kiran wi bi junub dik la no kolon bi awol ba nya kolon kon ben the ruwen the website na chu loy biol ko ade gi chitri gwi wane gwi to gyo ben jam ngana ngi ke photos ne ku lo kai o ge jam pin nil te jo dal ka ko jo ge te cho ge convention un te lo suggestion un lo inu yen ke minu bi da dialogue lo kam na ula unity ke minu bi lo ke ya Martin Bordu cha kon kwen min 2019 ke minu wo bug nam da constitution ke o tit ala sasinu constitution ngano wi we ko ci lui ba ene to kwanya wazifa bata description kpia loy ke ngi kuni chen ke inoti to kujine ne sura kam minuden bin kat pi road ka chin gidu loy in IT ka kugui when they hiring you kuchen policy in place you cannot enforce policy kito pi ruwen achin guidance ke minut constitution board ko loy anela te ran ben min dum na inu ka chen constitution ta bai en ka wa ne ran kwan ku ba de was bo ke krana chop au kwan ran pe lakini de constitution ko chagara ra jin chi bai ka krana be ben ti de gawani nun ta che chi lo in place so swala ti waja ku non be lo jo bu no ne ko to bi ke ben lo jo bu convention bo lo da e open inu ne de ka we book got e ku ting how we can add them achin website achin official secretary bita nganang ran information ku ku to no it just get horrible kwa chem kun wo bu ko jala ko wo digital phone nganang mesen private phone chan bu jam ko kem bi de at least bi de media fi ruwen pande bitrol kem bi de mokto bita media de secretary un ta suggestion bu ka ga to lanu convention ne kem dialogue bit kamda achan bi de ten mia bi da improvement ke lazim bi da peace lanu achan bra la pur ke la mu ngi no achran bin ben moy so ko unta ci lo suggestion in mayi ku James mayi ku ni ke ga do dialogue bu lo bi ku dialogue ke lazim bi salatin lu nganang ship ta nganang bita gabel bi wolo constitution bita ruwen ke lam bi to fi agenda website au information de bai ke lam bi ni fa yen yin na ngwen bordo inde te sala do ko junta to ngana kake o wi bu ko lo suggestion ku tuju ke but how can we get there shukran
Well, miklo di dangan tau in war ding luet ka bi ka lu ban apiat ki ma chagal ko ka tau in the diaspora. Our community in the diaspora Kamane is also breaking down, and it began breaking down when the leadership on the ground in Ruweng breaks down. That crisis over there, it actually trickles down here. A lot of people been targeted, and Ruweng actually pan the big bang on Kinwatke. Okay. All the population in the diaspora, Chiran, KPO, or Chiran, Green and you can't bay, either to bring food on the table or to. So we have an impact, a huge impact. Now, Banya Ben Kulu Gala Kachin Katan Loy diaspora, Bankan ignorant. I think most of the young people get to buy them, and a lot of them get product. The Kakuana cake to white. Yagarane Louis Keraka Jachin, to green tea and to $20 to $50, that makes an impact in the life of an individual. So, if then credible leadership here in the diaspora, these ideas will get discussed and will get transcribed into a document, and you send it through the leadership in the diaspora. This is our position. In fact, what to go ahead of myself, during my Yulukura Kwe, I proposed a diaspora desk below within the local administration. Because somebody who is actually hired and is a position in the government, diaspora desk, so that if the administration or state of Ruang prepare their budget, by the time they're funding their budget, if there are some gaps that need to be filled by the diaspora community, that's when we can actually be mobilized. We can mobilize funds and actually fill that gap. Okay? As long as we know this money is going through particular projects. Let's say, for example, hospital Betaparian, Masai for the Kyunga. The little Nakade equipment which became all in it hand. The book to it, you can't look at project Loy.
No.
This is why I disagree with a lot of people here in the diaspora. You had a way with Patkachin project Loy. Okay? Where what you are, who could can name Glowin, who took it to move around in Kingi long Yan Kinamwell. Let her get the Nkake. Let her get a loy lay, let her get young the low MI, let her then Lengaran and Coin. Kakati young and keep day in it. I can't from me and you. Tao Yanam Kulala Mayik then Kiala coin, Taglanara quite non tau, non Chicatao, Lanakin project. I can't do Arapat. Yala the Mugajar, then project Lula Kaloy, credible. Chimana one pair, Kajukan Lula Koy. I don't know what happened. Well, Jake Lost Boys, AK Dom Kadatin in Juba. Sometimes people go and fight over it. Okay? So, K organization, the community or binding. Now, if you been diaspora could be low mobilized with credible information. Like any word project we can contribute money. Okay? Yep. Communities called in. But right now, that unity has broken down. Okay? Come on, leadership that are ruined by it. Come on, who be a low qualification? Come on. And their capacity. We are reach out to everyone. Go mobilize the community that we will support. I know good pay. Communication and a live. So when Kutene on this platform, I share and talk. Kajuchi Miarathon Chak one, Kachi Koikok will Keladum got transcribed into a document, compiled, and then we can direct to a leadership and my buy. I think. Yeah.
Very good. In Challenge James Jam Chin Jam, we touch everything. The question is for them to check a significant of what are the significant goals of Ruang community dialogue in Juba? But Kavaloy Mantina ke etisin ko lakini it was not part of the topic, but ke part of Kuanchibayo along the environmental protection. Bin Jamamat Kuogupok, it's not too sharp, but then we will go program and pay by loy. I'll go back me at the thing I will do the visual presentation, and then you will just go direct to it, because I'm not going to ask you a question or what they read, and then we will make a little bit comment, like question on the comment section on the Kiwati Kepot, below summarize by then. So let's just wait this one until I just talked a while, okay, and then you will pick up from there.
Pam jam over for the bag, Jirani would take over me, you know, cake. Muru wing a pam jam over ayegene jatol bai go jirana go pi na jino tin jot bai gangan bu yen balak ngoro wenga pam jam overe foto ga jirana ye uti ko ngi junu ke ngoro wenga pam jam overe foto ga jirana ye uti Umuron mugapo agadi jongong ayegene jatol bai go jirana go pi na jino tin jot bai gangan bu yen balak ngab bai wa gijin panye change waman bai ni je bai yen ban kai di je pe tweng loy ga berian gula Yung banyerot gamba jemya kwanya banyko Ngababai wa gijin banye jenge waman bai ni je bai yen bany kai di je de tweng loy ga berian gula yung banyerot gamba jemya kwanya banyko Quay cả vô la đến dưới cái chế rồi gam bên ang bay trong đi để lôi bay dưới quê ngồi quê cái ran Con quay cả vô la đến dưới cái chế rồi gam bên ang bay trong đi để lôi bay dưới quê ngồi quê cái ran Dia jab jing ke tu durut jom juria ku majin mes gurani de ki to ding abaru wen abe dom jin nga ke be tan jogaro kim ne pyo jing abe de chu de bai Dia jab jing ke tu durut jom juria ku majin mes gurani de ki to ding abaru wen abe dom jin nga ke be tan jogaro kim ne pyo jing abe de chu de bai Mia de ga chem go keng rai de de mia Yết cả tùn cụ của đào cả quay bốc quem Miếng đá to cả linh Bài cả chêm quê giá cái đài là bánh ngà bài Chôm nụ rù yên ngà bê đi bê Ngà bê hoa nhuột bình tô ngà bà kèo qua luyện Miết cả chêm ngô kén rai đá đê miát Yết cả tùn cụ của đào cả quay bốc quem Miếng đá to cả linh Bài cả chêm quê giá cái đài là bánh ngà bài Chôm nụ rù yên ngà bê đi bê Ngà bê hoa nhuột bình tô ngà bà kèo qua luyện Chêm quê giá cái đài là bánh ngà bài Ngà bê hoa trò đê tiệp bình nhà ngóng nụ rù yên ngà bê rô đê Ngà bê nhuột bình nằm ngà bê bài nhà Chêm quê giá cái đài là bánh ngà bài Ngà bê hoa trò đê tiệp bình nhà ngóng nụ rù yên ngà bê rô đê Ngà bê nhuột bình nằm ngà bê bài nhà
Thank you very much for watching. James, these are very graphic pictures, and these are not propagated pictures that we just get it from somewhere. They are coming directly from Ruang administrative area. But James, go ahead.
En academy
Jam Nyalik.
or Jamile guy got a financial the pioneer like him. These are environmental degradation in our home area is a crisis which should be projected at the international level so that a credible solution is found. And I tell you, oil is a non-renewable resource. After some time, it will begin to decline. We're going to deplete it under the ground. It will be finished. And when it is finished, its environmental impact will take about more than 30 years to clean, if it is at all being cleaned. This is a crisis. It is bad. People are taking it out, go and sell it, go use the money to do other things in other home areas, and you guys are going to remain with the damaged land. And once the oil is completely finished under the ground, these guys will move on with their lives. And we will struggle for generations and generations to come. Or maybe people are going to move, northward, which is not also safe because that will create another border problems that ABA is dealing with. So, environmental degradation in Ruang is a challenge that need to be projected. And we actually had a forum. We had a forum that I don't know what happened. I don't know why we could not unite and work together. Back in the days, we had a listserv where we were brainstorming. Dr. Santino Ubeg was a part of it. Merayan was a part of it, and a lot of other people. I had approached one of the toxicologists who is a family friend here with me. And by the time Merayan came here, I actually had heard them communicate through Skype, and I was a part of that teleconference. They talked, and we told Honorable Merayan what this lady should do. She's a great friend of mine. And what we were proposing is to actually launch a study that will identify what are the chemicals content that are being used there in the area. Here in America, there's something we call fracking. Fracking, until now, the chemical contents have never been identified, but it is a dangerous method of emulsifying the rock that is containing hydrocarbon. Okay, you emulsify it so that the rock can be separated from oil, and you use very dangerous chemicals to human life and even animal lives. So, is fracking happening? If it is happening, it is not safe for the people. It's not safe for the environment. So a scientific study was going to be conducted, and she was going to do it through one of the universities here. My goal was to get this crisis published internationally so that the world is aware of what is going on there locally on the ground. And it was not difficult. We just go and collect samples, put it in the bottles, and send them here. Take them to the university lab, study it, okay, in the name of Ruang, and then project it, publish it internationally. Let the academic institutions know around the world that there's a problem there. That is when pressure can come from above and something can be done. Suggestions can be made because we don't know what is going on there. It just doesn't look good. It looks very dangerous. So that forum died down. I don't know. Maybe it's because it was me who was initiating it. I didn't have, it was not a political thing. I'm not ready to go there and, But then the lady gave up. You know, the communication was not there. It was diverted to somebody else who was going to do a study locally there. I don't know how it all ended because I never followed up after that. Yeah. And I thought we were going to find friends outside. I don't devalue the local expertise. Okay. But what I wanted was an international publicity. That is the most important part. That study was done locally. Now it is sitting there locally somewhere. What is being done about it? Nothing. And I also talked to people in the government in Juba, the Ruwen people, and I told them, look, do you know who is doing this? It is the government of South Sudan. Because the government of South Sudan is the one that has a contract with the international companies, the oil companies, the ONGC of India, there is a CNPC of China, there is Petronas. These are the investors, the oil companies. So these are multi-international giant oil companies that has an equal footing with the government of South Sudan. The government of South Sudan can actually do something. So if you, as an MP, come and accuse the government and you are in the government, you are actually accusing yourself. You cannot be the accused and be the judge at the same time. Okay? We, the local people, are accusing the government of South Sudan to be damaging our environment. Do you think the government of South Sudan can do anything? Unless if this pressure comes from the international arena with a credible think tank that are known internationally, nothing will be done by the South Sudan government. So.
Thank you very much, James. Moses, I think you will put your last remark, and then what the English, and then James will summarize from educational system to political dynamic, and then some of the question on comment on the comment section, and then we close the show. Moses, go ahead if you have issue over there, and then I will allow the word English to go.
Yeah, give me some minutes.
Okay, just mute yourself. Word English, go ahead and make a last remark because we are going to close.
So, yeah, na chin kidit batet. What I can tell James Mayik, ideas is there, but kwajun te ade kicha 12 kitam ni jakolan tikin aran ta bije kwaj kwa bedel boga asset benisba lom oga enemy pio benisba lo lanu when we point out kadigun te ku ting ba chok pinya kanon kilwera antiman wan ku below it's not because you need a physician in yin ke kedik a thing ku ich kai ku pie en ke miskele pie la ande kin krang ting ku ke ke chol ke chol ke in ke ok nok ba ne ti chokrang kedik au kra ti chogen ting ba in ka gen wi bu lo po nya ko kon ko so ke ba te ba yi go buluin jem na yi go bului ku hata yana ni de no marta ko ke to gen lo public zato ena liu I think community actually abandoned. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Lano if we find out, a check quite a big glowing and Lano quite a be a chica jam, Kaiwan to ben, include Kaiwan, the Ben old government leg pinion, a Kayoka chat, oh, chat the water pot, Pukula on the gas or one big and keep you meat. One jam, one of the things we the colon book there, vocationally college, your training, get your achan brana piran ki opportunity yok bi dem the high school bu pio ki jwa man ke de ko ko wone ko je lamba loy le karaba ben yo men la ya ma ke ko degree kanen wija kolan bida school loiko kwan ji jam ko tin to ma yol tan che yop kulagen o go wijo nga ne ya bay manam ku ci unity ben lan ke de pa na rai kulo manim real ke tio ka chiran ben men japin akolan nan mit pio kolan bi dok ku o ki bu ko lakin ke do na ga bida wona ga ran pio jata ran ki gat ci ko de lu bo ci ngo ben ke ki di de ben ke minu bida ngan community college bita 2 years ke minu bi lo pi junu Sudan ben lakin yena ci kare junu Sudan bok ba jam ke ki de ke ni apio kwan ci jam ko la sezinu bi wona ga bi loy kwa cho de loy man jo ben jam ne ke diu ne ran pio jo ben diu ke ne ran ko public lakin ok advice ke ugam ko ngiko plan loy ko wona ga bi da wona ga hata ko chak chen college ko wona ga high school be there 4 years ala sezinu ran which you be like college you be la jama chen opportunity bi la jama chen namoyo ke bulu yen kin lan siore ko wona ga ada different ke won ta lo i kin lan wona ga na community college benisbale was better than university halatin. Why? Because ke kulo wachin kina no computer ke one class bita 4 week bita 4 months ki ye dakpin hata ko cha kuji chode asala na nge te e kenru in ka idea we balwe na galo te ko kalan ki mayol bana chu ban ki ban jam ye che jam ketir hata wan chen be won acha yop ke yok pi kurdufan achan bu ko lui ke yok kurdufan ke to pi moto meruta fees kunyaga jam ge mayol na ga wi bo yi ko ngor ko ki ja 2 years chan bi jam ran ki lo na ga bi ya en ke wi ba loy so wo ka de ko loy ku pin ne kwa chi mi da kai kwa chi ka loy fe ma de wo diet ba ke mi nu bi ngi a che wo zai ba chin uzi pa ngi ko ya na sa ku wi uzi ban ki la junu Sudan I was looking bala pio te pe yakala ya Rwanda ya bala pio Angola ya bala pio ja ngane chorma dual pay is one thing I was pursuing last year ba PhD control kula pio te pe la junu Sudan chi wi pio jama jiba na jama ko ba chira nan lo rudo so wo ku kibulu give up lakin ke resources ka bugla ko ba yenen ke ban jam ni por.
Thank you very much, Ward Englu. Moses, go ahead for your last remark.
Okay. First of all, thank you, James, for the outstanding contribution that you made. You have said a lot of stuff that are actually academically profound. We need to work together. That's why we formed this media. The reason why we formed this media is the reason that our people are facing in South Sudan, which is particularly ruling administrative area. We are the eyewitness and we are the helpers. Regardless of what we are doing, wherever we are, we must to focus on that. So the matter of oil is one of the problems that is really bad. And when you see it, you think that area has no people or people with knowledge. There is nothing easy in this world. Even if when we go to school, you know that you have some challenges on some classes that you may not, achieve what you want. The same thing to education, to environmental, to raise awareness to our people back home is the most important thing. We are well off here in abroad, like in the United States. We are well off. We have our families. We live in a good condition, but back there, people are really suffering, as you have seen the graphic pictures that were shown in the clip. So for us to do this, it needs our effort. We need to work together with the due diligence, no give up. So what you said earlier, James, is one of the things that we need. Community is not developed by one, or it's not, helped by all people. There are few people over there that are committed to do that. And that's why we are here today. We need to open our minds instead of having a kind of old-time attitude, of which if you have issue with Mrs. So, you abstain yourself. You don't want to give them the idea that you have. What you said today is that it shows that we have people that have knowledge. You speak very well. You express all the points that we want. And that's why we invited you to be here. Look at America. Everywhere there are many institutions in America, and those institutions, they work together collaboratively. They work hand in hand. For example, if somebody made crime over here and try to escape to Louisiana, there is a network. So you cannot even reach Louisiana. You will be apprehended somewhere, before you reach Louisiana. That's the core, that's the networking, sharing the ideas. Our leaders from ruling state, they become old primitive society life or way of which if somebody is getting to power today, he's turning his back to his colleagues. That's not how we govern ourselves, and that's not how we can move forward. We need to share ideas. I'm not perfect. I'm not 100% sure that I'm perfect. Jim is not perfect. All of us are not perfect. But we learn from one another. As long as we learn from one another, then we can move forward as a society. So our society is the backward society in South Sudan. Look at the area. The oil is being exploited. UN is there in the area, and so many other organizations that are operating somewhere in ruling state, and they don't even talk to them. We need leaders who are open-minded to build networking, build relationship with those organizations so that they can pour in development. So like water, we should not lack water. We should not lack health. We should not lack roads. We should not even UN himself, the UN organization, UNHCR, can even report that. But if you don't tell them, then it's up to you. So that's why we are here all the time. And some people look at us as we are, we have some issues, but we are not. It's because we are well aware, we are well informed, and we don't like to see such things. So I appreciate you, James, for your effort, your help. What you said today, and if people watch videos, they will take from you. You are really a teacher. You are a professor. You really express my heart, and I feel appreciated. So based on the oil, we have to make the program, keep that program. It doesn't matter. I talked to you last time that even if we cannot get in touch with you as soon as possible, do your part. Anybody else can do his part, and then we put it together. The problem of oil will affect our kids, will affect our generation that will grow up. It's bad. It's bad. And when we talk about it, people look at us like it's not our business, but that's not good. If you look in America here, the way they produce oil is completely modernized. There is no something like that, something liquid around. It's not there. And that's what we want. If government of South Sudan is the one that is behind this, then we have not fear. We have to talk. We have to express ourselves louder until this country will hear what we are saying. Last time I was thinking of writing a letter to my senator about this, taking that picture and put it in there and send it to him. And I will do it because what we want is the awareness that our government must pick up. They have to change their behavior, the attitude, the way they do things in South Sudan, because the world is now a country. It's a very small things that people can take information from one another to another. You see Ukrainian war. It's spread all across the world. Even a person who is suffering somewhere knows that Ukrainian is fighting. Why? Because they release the information. So we will not stop on oil. We will try to figure out how to get these companies understand the world, how the world works. Because Chinese, Malaysians, Indian, that's why America do not accept them. Even BP, So it is our responsibility to make sure that we build network with other people and expose these dangerous chemicals that are being exposed to our people. We were living good, and now it's bad. So is our work, and I appreciate you, James. So I will end my my contribution here. Thank you so much. And maybe we'll meet next time for another topic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ward Engler, and thank you very much, Moses Milo. Very impressive last remark. James, Ustaz James Mayik, go ahead and make your summary and the last remark. So,
I thank all of you. For those of you who created this, and in fact, the quality is really good. I like it. It's better than what we had last time. So thank you, Mayiri. Thank you, Moses Milo. Thank you, Ward Engler. And I want to thank our technical expert behind this, Dudu Mithiang. And I also want to thank our fearless treated Trig Lang Mijak. You know, sometimes we appear, we clash, but I like the guy though. he has done a lot of work, a lot of groundwork for this. Okay. Back in the days, people fear social media, but now everyone is sneaking in. It is becoming a platform to open up network between the people. So it's good. Thank you. My summary will begin with our own network as a community. We have come a long way. All of us, each one of us has a story to tell. And I always tell people, you don't have to suffer to be successful. And one thing that we need to know, we are the only generation that is going to continue talking about ruin. We are the only generation that is outside the country that will continue sending money home. Okay? When you see these guys here, our children who are here, we gave them names in the Panaru. Okay? But if you look at them more critically, I don't believe Binyan Melo be telephone quang which all wool and queer by Panagian. Ran quite go, Nilan, and quite go. I see it. I don't believe it. So, Ruang has a great opportunity to make use of our generation when we are still alive to better themselves. And we have done a lot. We have put people to school. We have sacrificed our small resources that we get here, and we share. All right? So, when we talk about issues to do with our community, we should not be seen as a competition. Because, like Milo said, we are all successful. I think you are still the same with somebody who has a degree in loitering on the street of Parian without a job. I think so. We should not be seen as a competition. I am also doing my things out here. I went to South Sudan, but I came back because I saw no value in being there physically. Sometimes I become overexcited about things I want to get involved in. And sometimes that actually makes other people think that I am being too emotional about them. But let me tell you this, without being emotional, you cannot change anything. I think. One third, take ran the pantry. But when the coin in, and a bammy or you touch, young touch, or a bammy or you tap, or a better the chum the chop enough. Kako and never quite got to take by, get you know, more to buy. I think great. Iran ran the pan in area of I think Lanang, you know, in case young I can't quite. But attitude to Benamantina. I don't even think like it transition talking from that traditional setting to a new way of life. What quite that transition. So Let us manage this transition. And I urge our people back home to benefit from our generation who are out here. Okay, reach out to people and you're a dog here and you settle by and it was us and pure Madaras Kuma the America. It's stable job. And we are been around. I will be coming every summertime. The project here, secretary, and and focusing on my things too. But if you reach out to me, I will contribute. I will tell you as honestly as I think. I'm always in Nairobi. I'm always in Kenya because of the project here, but I'm also doing some project in Juba, so I'll be coming to Juba. I think real kuchide very good transportation system. Chiro live. Kuide buy. Yan mongor Kalabe. I'll be coming home too. So, coming to the ruin endowment, and I will throw in your hands with the chap the ruin abankulu. You hold your government accountable, because the government of the people is the government that succeeds. I think a cattle account the ruin kakun okay, Ladim, you have the right to know. You have the right to ask questions and be answered. Okay? There's no reason to keep public resources secret. Public resources are never secret. So whoever try to hold information back from the people is not going to help. The people will actually go out there and they will try to find a new leader. And that's exactly what has been going on. All right? So rule of law is important, because without the rule of law, if the Leoma Yiria will look and buy a Kana Ibadin, Wang is rule of law, Mao Ben Gama Yiria, or Ben Boku Loeka Kanichiti again. Okay? But we can't get one here ran to Loeban Care Hokulan Bakakiloi. Okay? But now the system is stable so that people can work for the system, not at the mercy of an individual. Okay? Then the later on, Lengal, later than pay, when they go again, Kashi beta ten, that system, a be quite a muke, a big banya big again, I'll hold accountable. The then keep town in there. So, in the importance of the rule of law. Okay? Rule of law system, okay, you gear a sub condition and how a sub time, a sub situation of a particular demography. All right? So, like rule of law, you allow transparency in the Louis build. Yeah, and you probably jam with Chakile, you pay what I die, present. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, James Mayik, with your presentation. With this in mind, for how the most important or significant of professional show that we did today with James, and I think everybody is very happy. We are very reluctant about what we are discussing. So Ruwen Global Media is very important to streamline the importance of the community, the importance of our discussion. So we need to be very, very professional when discussing issues on the social media. And I hope James have contributed immensely. And I think that's a very important sharing. It's a very important way of sharing of ideas, even though we are very far from South Sudan. We can contribute in sharing the knowledge that we have here. And communication is very important. I think James talked about it. Why communication is very important. Let me reflect you back during the 9/11 attack. It was because of the communication. The communication was broke down between the security agencies within the United States. And that's why it was it affects the country. But now they have what they call security integration. Everybody is connected, so they have to share the information, and that one is very important, and that's why we need to communicate between our local government and people from diaspora. So James is in Chile, Ben one Chin Ben, Kujula Moses in Chile, Kujula Word Denglu as Kubio as quite even. Kechulo Koluke very important, and that will be the beginning of our professional presentation. Nair and the Quinta will be here with us, with our community back home. I'm very sorry that James Mingon Mijak, I took to one network. Kayoke network issue on his side. Okay, near which and be a part of it. I am James pinging it and Kai Chang Nin, I think I get a fay. In Chule, die, Chinda, Queen, Chile contribute a lot here. Manakachike Rochetan. So there will be a time walking Chol. Book in Bavan along the Kaike humanitarian agencies along the ruin. Chan book Ben Mio Malumat. Go there Nader and the Fion on your Raditan Crowder. You can't see what a Denglu, what Denglu computer network, currently. I can be around of 10 Lakin Manchen and Yokan. Not like now we could be transition to our children back home too. Enga the kids also Sudan go quite cocky, Chibu Ali, Chika with. Then, world of globalization. Information lebi what the Denglu as Yokotan lebi share quite one founder, Kulega benefit from it. Why in Jim is in Chuk Ledger Pay Ben Chinban at this end, Yoko Butogatin. Next time we wouldn't ban by we are jam about social activities, man chok jam about education, we are jam about political dynamic, chaka beyond well maybe US 30. You can't answer the car, she non chico care. And the choke over the attend politically can you take a ye family dear ever, you miss really chicken champagne, what they were the shay and can get the other. Get out of that. The other is the Chigram, Gashigram, Kalik Ramadan, Wabing or Ruban Chamachin by Foggy. Yen most of the Netaka. We're meeting all quarter 10, Kaka will 10, then I'm can James, then K most of Kelakan way, Yen Kanako Kurse. You get me Loka. Get out of that. A chuck bringing a villa van cake by then a big by much, well, big by Lloyd shooting it. So, some Yamoga she could be up in that. Sometimes what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, minutes on the game, and then tell me Quantaga. And because the shade is out of well. Why in will calculate Ben Chuck Ben, who can Tanakan, Adera, they can be shot before go Kijal, Kayen. We are non cogita. Thank you very much.
Hey, James Mayik.
James, they could shot it. Well,
will get Tina.
Okay.
Almem anchor be do kien taban chani achi di jam taban mi jam tong ni jeng u kiman taw kring yen ten taban u de bere u nam dan nam cheng pu taban ke full ke stories wan di taw ko ba ki Sudan ki kon riak taban le gre de mi de di ke wan 1980s ke ba hiria those generation can taban we book a shopping quite book a shopping ke I think mitri ka ye ka lo yuzu quite coga chanien big lo a road block I think why she dig can quite ka we book a lo encouraged to go to school a charan jilo onaga taban ki tongan kilo onaga 10 jet onaga assassin ke different ideas thinking in a different like in skill you know taban the same skill I think okay behavior can be different in my feeling tan and you think taban ayo ya ruwen of the aldik dig bendik taban ke jam boga jam acha no guran wa lo put ke lo wan gol ruwen nam gora pay chi jem duran government taban human government in America or government account, for example, human talk by again. I didn't quite you quite Louis for government. They are just employees. I think a lawyer train, they quite credential payroll like a lawyer. Credential accounting lawyer, finance lawyer. Okay, I come on, I can lawyer monitor. System I lawyer them together, okay, lawyer monitor. I live lawyer anywhere. I live lawyer in the space. I live lawyer we. I live lawyer no. As long as he today quite much. We're gonna go lawyer. I do not banking rule and gonna. You got to give me little one K. I think K new. So yeah, I'm a lot of bulletin. Long channel where we got a cute out cake 10. I cannot quick quite cocky. I make key. But because I'm here behind the Kina society, the can quite pure great within society, they should not shut up. They have to speak. They have to speak 24/7. Challenge to quite a winning watching on she quite more than quite rapping. When I get King America, I'm a president in America. Hey, jam go 24/7. Cake work check every time. So a cake who quite already, a lot of book in dear man. Book I jam not only book I abuse language, what idea, technical ideas, book I'm taking a challenge to use it. Until our time comes, we will be there. I think so. We in the Canadian team we will add in the media. I can be ran will appear will appear. We are in the coin who actually James Adiok when can ben kwa nia kwa ya bube cha ba right and we are for you we use it for this media.
But if you are the we build on to that.
Okay, go ahead.
I teach something very important, and I think we'll touch on to academic loban be workshop here, especially adult people and pure you take how come for pure you take Uganda, pure you take long beyond you. At gap in or gap can I look a little bridge. I know Sibea me quite good. In that community. One day, Kachiro young. Kachiro young. They meet Louis complain, Kulele, a young Koi buy somewhere else, quite Ben Louis, walked away. If you grew my in a chain mobilization, Ben Loy, look on your only UN, employees to bend somewhere else like a you want me to quit. I think the canon. I took a stand. And Kayo on social media, especially on our timeline, they're being followed, they're following us. I have over 5,000 young people following me. And I do that for a reason. When I post on my timeline, I specify this post care for a particular audience. And so I got a call. I tell crime. A lot of them will call. My wake. Okay? We don't make a karam. Crime. Well, Pierre, I can die about the tour, the total wild bag, bag yumnum. Well, go high way, and a lock or tumula koi light. Ella koi light in a okay? Ella Amar and how he liked him, Mange, the turtle, and get a yoker or tum. When get in Ila Jamoy, you know one. Okay? Now she did tour Ben, deter my Jan, which Ben Bay. It can be Ben Louis with Ben Louis. Why do you want to harm them? Okay? Man, a pew quite. Number I can man the panaru, midwan, think they get a dick. The one you got Kiran tea, and yoke, Kiran grandpet, and yoka kegat. English, how we can unloy jam, liu. I think the quite take lawyer remove below, this is minimum, quite in capacity. Keran, primary school loy, Monazama. In Lloyd, taking report in God. Now you report a got, he just Lloyd here and more Ben Lloyd. Malacoin can you poor bay? A ma dagger is a coolie, keep it a limb to black young. Here the tea and pal. Okay? Palgutia, the Kajala Bai, I think you're quite second, professionals, they're quite their skills. And what are they coming to do? They're coming to help the community. Okay? What the administration need to do is to actually find out Iran will ruin. Okay, Junubi. The local taxes became a thing. Okay? The local taxes became a thing. Government of South Sudan is taking 6%. Is it 6 or 10%? Ran keep giving my go on be a but I actually took a stand when I posted my position. I got a call from Yam somewhere in the bush. Somebody I don't know. Why do you write like that? What I can't get it? Yellow will be able to call. Can you a yard? I can't technical position. You need to tour and we could. Can you a yard? How could you man? Not a yard. Karan che ganun gor. I go employment, I go a loyal sub ganun. Lakin yin Iran che class 8. Can you really read the constitution of South Sudan? No. Okay. AR is not a simple position, it's a technical position. All these positions the UN can buy my energy. Palku UN Mekale Louis. Okay. I am even told some 20 people mobilized themselves to lock at gunpoint to the UN compound. Will lock with you, okay, take a buy, the cake bad dumb mal, lock room cake at gunpoint with gel coin lock at you. And I like it, I can do for teen one. Fine, yam cake, little cake, and make a lawyer crime, a kid, a chin pan, it's young jarem. Otherwise, my quite big area. I think. Our people investors, when a foreign investors, they're big reward. Okay, can get economic happen. Okay, can pan a peaceful, ruin get peaceful. It will attract investment from the north, investment from Juba, investment. Then even Noe Malu, then Noel and Ben Louis, Itijari, and Motilian. Keran a dollar and a clear. Point point is very important, and I think we need to keep this conversation going. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, viewers. This is the end of the show. We will work Yeruda dwore kyo chinyo yang ding kila jawaba duai wa yang bi odi wono we ko ba tyo jom kilo mo hun ko kewe kwa gingewe kana go undi
Bani da tung yang ayun, wala bang nam. Dire, una borai. Bang wai cha bang deng toy, agon nam marial. Anne tona ni tung kwa, rani jang chobu kwe da jang matok angwel juye. Angwel juye je bajura, jabun yin na bai karya galem na yo. Bani toy dal fadol talamin wai dia, ya ya bange. Bang kachila jula lagi demda loy man men ka kwe log to. Ran milan nan chijin chwe kontem. Fani ban ni jing ye fani, chep jing jam lim rai jang we.